My name is Burton Brink. For those of you that don't know, you are sitting in the 49th Assembly District, right smack dab in the 49th Assembly District. Matt's already said everything that I'm about. I am a public safety person. I am a retired sergeant for the Sheriff's Department. And so everything that Matt was saying about public safety, I'm 100% behind and agree with. I'm right there with him. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, between 1 and 4, I am having a rally for not only the recall of Gascon, but vote for Burton Brink.
Sunday.
I said, yeah, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Dennis is awesome. He's been working very hard on the recall campaign. He's also been working very hard on my campaign, Wes's campaign, Matt's campaign, I believe, as well. And anyway, so tomorrow between 1 and 4 at Mission and Fair Oaks in South Pasadena. South Pasadena is the one of the new cities in the 49th Assembly District. So it's very important that we get as many people there as possible. So please share on your social media. It will be going out today on mine. And I want to make sure that we get a lot of people there. Let's get the message out. Let's continue to recall Gascon and get my name out there into South Pasadena to make sure everybody hears my name and has us represented in South Pasadena. So for those of you that don't know, 49th Assembly District covers Alhambra, Arcadia, San Marino, San Gabriel, now South Pasadena, East Pasadena County area, the unincorporated county area, Temple City, the north end of El Monte, Rosemead, and Monterey Park. We lost South El Monte and lost Montebello from the 49th Assembly District. So this is going to be a new election for me because of these new cities that are in there. And we're hoping that this is going to be a little more conservative and we'll get a little more people involved. When we did the special election for the old 49th Assembly District, there was 241,000 ballots that went out. There's over 251,000 ballots that have gone out for this election. So apparently it's increased the population in those areas for the 49th Assembly District. Yes, ma'am.
Can you speak to what the percentage of voters is within the 49th District? Republican, Democrat, decline.
So the Republican is 17%. The Democrats are 44%, and the rest is the independent
And that's the answer to your question.
More independents in California.
You don't go after the Democrats, you go after the independents.
Yep. And you know, in response to the voting issue, so for those of you that didn't know, there was a special election in the 49th Assembly District that was on February 15th, right after Super Bowl and Valentine's Day. So the 241,000 ballots went out, 41,000 ballots were returned. Just to give you a little bit of idea of how many votes I got in 2020, I received 51,000 votes in 2020 election. The most votes any Republicans ever received in the 49th Assembly District. They didn't show up to vote. Had they voted, I would have won by a landslide because the Democrat only had 27,000 votes. You see what the problem is? People are lazy and they don't get off their butts to vote. It doesn't matter, Republicans, the independents are the same problem. The Democrats get out to vote because most of them are bought and paid for.
I'm with Election Integrity Project California. And there are a lot of people that are being asked to vote provisionally even though they shouldn't. So you know your rights, demand a ballot. If you're a registered voter and you go in there, you demand a paper ballot to go vote and vote. So
absolutely.
70% provisional ballot. So a lot of those Republicans might have been supported. So
I totally agree with you. And you know, I'm one of those. I'm not a mail-in ballot fan in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, I believe they need to be removed.
Vote in person.
You've got to vote in person. My wife and I voted in person, and there was only one other person voting that day when I went in, or when we went in. And then I just found out somebody else who voted yesterday, and there was only one person that was in there voting when they were in there. So voting in person, you're actually having a ballot you're pushing the button. So your mail-in ballots, from my understanding, are being looked at to see, oh, I think they voted wrong here, or they meant to circle this button, and they redo your entire ballot. So that's how it was explained to me. That's dangerous. Anybody else is looking at your ballot and they're making up your mind for you, and I don't like that. Vote in person is the most important
And you
thing.
should also know that when you vote in person, you have a chance of an approved write-in candidate, if you have any of those.
Yes.
There's a place to type it in.
Yes.
And it goes on your ballot.
Yep, and it's
You do that by
printed
hand,
onto the
your
ballots.
ballot is rummaged through and reduplicated.
Yep. Very, very important that you vote in person. And you can start voting now. I know everybody says vote June 7th. June 7th is the last day to vote. Voting in person is happening now. Vote in person. Tell your friends vote in person. Don't wait till June 7th.
They're opening in 5 minutes.
Yep, they open at 10 o'clock.
Sandy and I voted for you yesterday, Burton.
Thank you.
And
You must have been the other person that was
right.
right.
And we went to San Gabriel High School in the auditorium, and no one else was voting. We were the only ones there. We went to the printed place in Alhambra at
We
the
went the wrong day.
wrong day. It wasn't clear until I read it about the third time. I read that little card, and it said the 4th to the 7th was open. So we went down to San Gabriel High in the auditorium and voted for it. But again, those things, no parking right in front, only disabled parking. You have to park out on the boulevard and walk a distance. Everything is done to
Inconvenience.
to make it as inconvenient as
Yep.
possible for you to vote. There is no private home as it was when I was a kid.
Yep.
Where you went to somebody's home
The precinct ballot.
and you voted. You were part of the community. This is just trying to remove you as much as possible from the possibility of being a human being and making you more and more into government. And so it was very proud that we voted for you, Burton, and we try to keep it with Republicans. And I wish I had heard Matt before.
Yes.
But thank you very much for being our candidate.
Thank you, Ralph. Anybody have any questions for me?
I do. Following up on what she brought up as, what's the difference between paper ballot and provisional ballot? I heard that in many conversations.
So provisional means that you either are not on their rolls or they think you've already voted. So if somebody's mail-in ballot has already been turned in and you still have your mail-in ballot, that means there's 2 ballots out there. So now they feel that you've already voted, so they'll give you a provisional ballot to vote. Yeah.
They're sending out ballots like your first name, your full middle name, and your last name. Then they'll send
Your
first
initial.
name, initial, and that.
Yep.
So if you're getting more than 1 ballot, you need to turn that in as a citizen witness statement. And there's a form you can download on EIP-CA.com, Election Integrity Project, California.com.
Right.
And if you get ballots for other people, or you know people are getting ballots for those who are deceased, you need to report them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing is when you do the in-person voting, it invalidates or voids out your mail-in ballot.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of important. As soon as the in-person voting happens, you can get down there, do your in-person voting, and cancel out your mail-in ballot so that you can make sure that does not get turned in after the fact.
So if I do paper, will I still be keying in?
So when you do the in-person voting, it's technically on a paper. When you're all done voting in person, you will have a complete list of everything and every person, every position you voted for, and then it goes back into the machine to be counted. So when you vote in person, it will print it out for you, and you look at it to verify everything is what exactly you push. Now, mind you, when I opened it up, I barely touched the thing, and it immediately went to Mike Fong. And I had to retouch the button to make sure it went to my name. So I touched a portion on the screen I didn't mean to touch. I just touched anywhere on the screen, and Mike Fong's name got highlighted. I go, don't try that crap on me. And I went to my name, and everything was fine. So I verified it when they printed it out.
Martin, did you report that?
No, I didn't. I didn't even think about it, but until just now. But I did vote it out, make sure that everything that everyone I was voting for was printed out, and then it goes back into the machine. So that's how you can prevent these people that are taking your mail-in ballots and re-looking at them and saying, oh, you didn't write the write-in candidate's name properly, so they're going to redo your entire ballot. And well, we know he didn't mean to vote for Burton Brink. He wanted to vote for the other guy and circle it in. Because there is there's no integrity when it comes down to these mail-in ballots at all. That's why I hate mail-in
So
ballots.
many hands.
Too many hands to go through.
So many.
But I know we're short on time. Any other questions?
I got one real quick. This is the first time they've ever put my middle name on the return ballot. It was always Francis. So if I don't sign Margaret Francis Clark instead of Margaret F. Clark, are they gonna throw it out?
No, they made the signature verifications on the machines very liberal, so they're practically accepting it. So if you can just, if you just put your middle initial there, we should go through, don't worry. Just make sure you sign it in the box on the front envelope.
Yeah, and speaking of envelopes, I have some envelopes on the table here right by the door. Please come on and help support me. We are going to be in the November election, and I need as much money as I can. I got to do a ballot statement. It's going to be at least $8,000 for that. We want to get some mailers out. We know that's about 20 grand a pop. So if you folks can help out with this in any way, shape, or form, take that. Go to my website. Do whatever. Website's burtonbrink.com, burtonbrinkca.com. They'll take you there. You can donate there. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned write-in. There is one candidate in this district that you can write in. That's the State Board of Equalization, District 3, and that's G. Rick Marshall.
And don't forget the G.
Yeah, you have to put the G.
And you can ask for a list at the front desk when you check in of the write-in candidates so you get it spelled correctly.
Right, the authorized
They might
write-in
ask you to give
candidates.
the list back, but.
And be careful, because there's a lot of people who are like, well, I don't like any of those people. I'm going to write in so-and-so's name. You do that, you totally invalidated your entire ballot. Don't do that.
No.
Write in candidates only. They will invalidate the whole ballot.
Yeah, they'll throw it out.
They'll throw it out. Or they'll re-vote for you the way they want. Anyway, I know we're short. Later. Thanks.